going on, everybody? Welcome to my WWE Friday Night Smackdown review, or night one of the WWE draft. And speaking of which, that's how we kick off Friday Night Smackdown with Triple H. The unique thing about each round of the draft, they had different presenters. Triple H was the presenter for the first round. So you had Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg, Teddy Long and JBL, RVD, and I can't remember his name, but he's one of the Freebird dude. But like I said, I'm gonna try to get through this fast because it's a lot. Because I even got to talk about the drafts that happened after the show or the next day. So round one, Triple H announced that SmackDown for the first round, first pick, they select Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Solo in a package deal. But oddly, even though it was explained that only half was eligible today and other half for Monday, but it was still odd though that Roman, I guess he was trying to wait to see if they would win tonight before he tried to get them, make sure they get drafted to SmackDown with him. But for right now, it was Roman, Paul, and Solo. Raw took Cody Rhodes. Surprisingly, the first person to move from a show to a different show is Bianca Belair. Bianca SmackDown took Bianca, even though she's the Raw Women's Champion. She was selected by SmackDown to come. She was selected by SmackDown, so she will be on SmackDown now. And these rosters go into effect May 8th. The Monday after after Backlash. And with the last pick of the first round, there was Becky Lynch who will stay on Raw. Triple H also announced since Roman is now will be on SmackDown, the new World Heavyweight Champion will be exclusive to Monday Night Raw. The Usos and Kevin Owens, the Usos came out. Triple H introduced the Usos. They came out and cut a promo still, basically saying they dedicated their match tonight for the undisputed tag team titles to Roman Reigns, and they said they know he felt some type of way about them losing at WrestleMania. They said they haven't heard anything from him since then. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will come out and basically. Sami Zayn said he's not here to try to talk some sense into him or anything, but he did have one last thing to say, which was that them themselves just mentioned how Roman has not been in contact with them, and they don't find it strange, but they want to keep dedicating their matches to him. Fine, but they're not going away with anything because they're gonna walk away. Then Jay would interrupt Sami saying, "You're not walking away with anything, Sami." And then I think Jimmy and them basically was saying they was gonna walk away, but Kevin Owens interrupted him, saying that he doesn't care he doesn't care anymore. He's so sick of the talking. He's sick of the Uso. He said he doesn't care what you think will happen to them, because I think Jay or Jimmy said something about Kevin Owens betraying Sami once they lose, and he said he don't care what you think will happen to them. He don't care what's gonna happen to you. If they lose. All he knows is that they're going to walk away with the tag team titles, and he's ready to fight. Then we get the first match of the night, which is Butch versus LA Knight, which was a pretty good match. This was more so a good match for LA Knight. I don't think LA Knight was eligible for a draft until Monday, but it was a good match with LA Knight taking the victory. And then we get to the second round of the draft, which, like I said, had different percentages. This one was the RVD and the Freebirds guy. And for the first pick of the second round, the Street Profits would get drafted will get drafted to SmackDown, which was obvious since Bianca Belair. Montez Ford's got to get drafted to SmackDown since Bianca Belair is going to SmackDown. Which means Angelo Dawkins came with them, so they drafted the whole team. Imperium, as rumored, it was rumored that Imperium could be going to Raw, and that's what happened. Imperium did get the whole of Imperium got drafted to Raw. Edge was drafted to SmackDown, and Matt Riddle would stay on Raw. The Street Profits will cut a promo saying that they they came out in blue, but nothing changed, but the show, and that they work on because they still want the smoke, and which transitions to the second match of the night, which is LWO versus the Street Profits versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet. This was Cruz and Del Toro, I think it's called LWO. It wasn't Santos Escobar or Rey Mysterio. It was just Del Toro and Cruz. I might be saying the same person, okay, but it was them two guys in a triple threat tag team match, which was a good tag team match, a good triple threat tag team match with the Street Profits getting the victory. Moving on, now we got the third draft the third round of the draft. This the one that had Teddy Long. Yeah, this the one that had JBL and Teddy Long as the representatives for SmackDown and Raw, which was, I will say this it was odd because both Teddy and JBL are like prolific SmackDown people who helped build SmackDown, and yet only JBL represented SmackDown. They had JBL representing SmackDown, but Teddy Long represented Raw, and it was weird because he's a SmackDown person. You would think he would represent SmackDown, but they had both. That's how they had them representing. And with that, the first pick of the third round will be Bobby Lashley going to SmackDown, which was a good one right there. Cause I wasn't expecting Bobby to go to SmackDown, but Bobby will be going to SmackDown. Drew McIntyre, which seems like they worked out their differences because Drew, at first Drew was not advertised to be in the draft due to his contract dispute. He must have signed a new contract or got he pretty much agreed to, sign a new contract. But Drew will be going to Monday Night Raw. Their entirety of the OC was drafted to SmackDown. That means not just Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, but also AJ Styles and Mia Yim. And then the last pick will go to Raw, which is The Miz. The Miz will stay on Raw. The OC will cut a promo basically coming out. Oh, you know what? I got ahead of myself. I thought that was right after the draft. That's actually after the third match. Sorry. I just looked at my notes when I said I saw that, and I'm like, oh. But the third match is actually Zelina Vega versus Sonya Deville. In a quick, it was like a 5 to 8 minute match. None too noteworthy. But Zelina Vega did get the victory here. With a roll-up pin on Sonya Deville, rather for her to have like actually use a finisher to beat Sonya Deville instead of a roll-up pin, because it doesn't really necessarily build her up as a contender for Rhea Ripley. Knowing, at this point, it's guaranteed that Rhea Ripley will win because she doesn't look like a legit person. But I understand why they made her a contender, because she'd be, it's in Puerto Rico in front. Talking as is a bit in front of their family and friends and all that type of stuff. But you kind of need to build her up more. But yeah. And then Rhea came out, and after she won with the roll up, Rhea came out of nowhere and drop kicked the hell out of Zelina and beat us and headbutted Sonya Deville for I don't know for what reason. She got tried to get in Rhea's face, she turned Rhea around hey, what are you doing? And Rhea just said swat and knocked her out. Chelsea Green was on the ropes. I forgot she was there at ringside. She was on the ropes, and then Rhea was like, "Are you bark, man?" And Chelsea oh, man, hey, I'm good. but yeah, now after And then she tried to like rip ties Zelina, but Zelina reversed it and spiked her with a DDT, and Rhea sold the hell out of that. All right, moving on. Now the OC comes out and cut a promo. Basically, they was getting ready to come out. They came out getting ready to talk about them being on SmackDown, but before they could say anything, it was immediately interrupted by the Viking Raiders, and they too was drafted, but I'm gonna get to them in a minute. Um, they would be immediately interrupted by the Viking Raiders, who AJ Styles would take the mic and say, "Oh, let me just make this clear. Y'all came out here for a fight, right? To start a fight." And then he realized, he said, he see they was a little hesitant. Oh, because it's four. He says 4-on-3. You're smarter than you look. He said, "I'm gonna just bag up." He got on the turnbuckles and told the OC to handle their business. And the OC was prepared, would beat down, basically get the better of the Viking Raiders and beat them down and send them packing, and then stand tall. And then AJ Styles, as they was AJ Styles would grab the mic again and said, "SmackDown, we just started." Do the little click thing, and then as they was leaving, AJ Styles thought, "Hey, why not?" And he gave a phenomenal forearm to Ivar. Then finally, after all that, now we get to the last round for the last round of the draft for night one, which is the fourth round. And this one was Raw Dog and Shawn Michaels. And yes, if you with Shawn Michaels, if you guess right, yeah, it will be this time finally all around we're gonna have some NXT call ups. Now, for the first pick, SmackDown, to the dismay of Michael Cole, Damage Control was drafted to SmackDown. All of Damage Control. Shinsuke Nakamura got drafted to Raw. And then the first NXT call the entirety of the draft was the NXT SmackDown, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And the last pick, which is another NXT call up, was Indy Hartwell being drafted to Monday Night Raw. Then also, this is the last draft that was shown on the show, but the after show draft also had another rumored NXT call up. But now that we got that out of the way, Shawn Michaels also was in dismay because he lost he lost basically like 3 people from NXT, two in the tag team, and then Indy Hartwell. The main event, which was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the undisputed, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the undisputed tag team championships. This was a good match. Maybe not because they had the time like they had with WrestleMania. That was like the only difference, was that they didn't have that time, but it was just as good. Well, it was almost just as good. Just didn't have the time like they had at WrestleMania, but it was still worthy of what it was called the WrestleMania main event rematch. The Usos, it was kickouts, it was fake outs, it was everything just like the WrestleMania match. But in the end, it ended the same with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn getting the victory. Also, I forgot to mention, there was a backstage promo where Shinsuke Nakamura, who basically was getting interviewed by Kato about him going to Monday Night Raw, but he would be attacked by Karrion Kross. There was also backstage promos with the Usos and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman hyping them up, telling them that tonight is your night. Tonight is the night that you regain and become 9-time tag team champions and bring back the gold to the island of relevancy. Or if you don't, you'll be cast to the sea of obscurity. So he basically let them know that if they don't win, it's the sea of obscurity, or if they do win, it'll be the island of relevancy. But he said Roman only accepts success. Success is the the only option that you have on the idea of relevancy. And either way, tonight, and then is the night. but these cryptic promos being, Jay and Jimmy wasn't paying attention, that he was not, when he started saying that, he wasn't looking at them, he was looking at Solo. And when he said tonight is the night, he took out some tape to get the Solo to tape up his thumb, and basically, and then another promo that happened during the match was that Solo was told, Paul Heyman got the call from Roman and told to tell Solo that tonight is his night. And basically what it was, that it is either they win and Solo and the Usos beat up Sami Zayn afterwards, or they lose and Solo beat up the Usos afterwards. And he was coming out there to do so. I'm like, damn, he did not. That's his big brothers, and he wasn't going to hesitate to beat them up. But as he was coming out, was caused a distraction. Matt Riddle would come out of nowhere and beat up on Solo, and then that's what led into the Usos winning the match. I mean, not the Usos, but Kevin Owens ended up winning the match, as they would later on hit their finishers and win. But yeah, like I said, the match itself was good. Oh, and when the Usos lost, Solo came back, but he was not in, like, he didn't come up to them, but he was like in the crowd somewhere, and they saw him looking and disappointment at the Usos for losing. But yeah, so now that I got that out the way, I'm going to give this. This was a good SmackDown. The draft made things fun. Couple of good matches, not great, but some good matches. Obviously, they more focused on the draft stuff than the matches itself, but the matches wasn't horrible. Some good promos, some good matches. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 big ups. But before I go, let me tell you about what happened afterwards. Who got drafted, who went where, in the after show draft, or the next day draft that took place on Saturday. Okay. So, for the first little round, okay, it wasn't really rounds, but the first names of drafts that happened was the Viking Raiders went to Monday Night Raw. Dexter Lumis and Candice LeRae would also stay on Monday Night Raw. Along with Maximum Male Models, they will also stay on. Or was Maximum Male Models on SmackDown? I can't remember. They was on SmackDown. I think they was on SmackDown. So I would say they moved from SmackDown to Raw. Hit Row will also stay on SmackDown. And then we got Lacey Evans, who will also be drafted to who will be drafted to SmackDown. Natalia will be drafted to Monday Night Raw. Apollo Crews, coming from NXT, will be drafted to Monday Night Raw. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green will get drafted to Monday Night Raw. 2 more NXT call-ups here. Zoe Stark got drafted to Monday Night Raw, and JD McDonald, I think the dude from NXT, he also got drafted to Monday Night Raw. So there you have it. That was everybody that was eligible for night one. The people, I think they said MVP. I know I can't remember all of it, but I know it was MVP, Omos, Von Ratner, and it was some more people that that was eligible for night one that's now free agents. MVP Omos and Von Ratner were announced as free agents. So yeah, if you enjoy my review, I know it's been a long one, guys, but if you enjoy my review of night one of the draft or Friday Night SmackDown, you hit this button right there for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoy the reviews so much and want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit those buttons. And as always, hitting on these videos for more amazing content, but don't go anywhere because I got more reactions and gameplay coming your way. Peace.